Mitlis has raised hand. Please go ahead, Mitlis. I'll allow you to talk. Okay.
I
Okay.
mean to say, without the internet connectivity, we can use Turno.
No, because it uses the large language models such as our own, and or it can use the OpenAI or anything, right? For that it uses, but it doesn't mean that it uploads all your data to the LLM. Okay, LLM is basically the large language model such as OpenAI. So it requires an LLM, but it does not upload all of your data there. It runs everything inside your premises, and it kind of what it does is, instead of basically generating anything, it gives the overview about your structure of the data to an LLM, saying that can you generate code? So the LLM generates the code, it runs the code, just like data scientist. Data scientist basically looks at your problem statement, writes the code, and then executes the code, observes what happens, then comes up with new ideas. Does that answer
So
your
what is
question?
the difference in? I think in Turno also you are using some LLM model.
Correct.
I hope the Gemini or OpenAI, these all
Yeah,
those things you are using.
correct.
That's why you need the internet connectivity also.
That's right.
So what is the difference?
Yeah.
The
The
suppose as
difference
a
is,
business, as a entrepreneur, I'm using OpenAI,
yeah,
Gemini,
yeah,
or I can create my private my personal OpenAI account also. I can
correct,
create a new. I
correct,
can
correct,
give a dedicated name also. It will
correct.
also work in my inside the premises.
Exactly. Hear me
Yes.
out
So
now. Yeah, hear me out. I understood your question, correct? Your question is very valid, and it's a very important question for everyone. So, so yes, you might question that what's the point of Turner when there's OpenAI or ChatGPT? I can just use that, right? The companies that use Turno are the companies which have their historical data, right? Let's say FMCG company who has, let's say, 10 years of supply chain data, right? And this data is in databases, in their files, in all of their data is in their organization. And this data is of the size of terabytes, right? Now, it doesn't make sense that you upload all this terabytes data to ChatGPT or OpenAI or anything. And even if you do, it wouldn't be able to give you the good results. Okay. So when I'm talking about here about analytics, the role of Turno is when you have humongous data, when you have huge data, let's say 3 years of the entire operations data. In those cases, Turno plays a wonderful role, right? Does it make sense to you now?
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Very good question. Thank you again. Um, all right, all right, wonderful. Any other question? There are some more questions. Okay. So, yeah, Anurag Ratna from Amsterdam. I'm passionate about technology. Wonderful. And yeah, great, great. All right, wonderful. So basically what it does is you ask your question in plain English to Turno. Turno response gives the response in desired format, and it basically connects to all the data sources that are there in your organization, right? It could be your SAP database, it could be your BigQuery, it could be your PDF document, it could be your Odoo, it could be, and all of them. You can also connect all of them at the same time, and it can combine the results from multiple places. Like for example, my my for example, my data could be some part could be in the CRM, some part could be in the Google Analytics, some part could be in Facebook ads, and some part could be my local data from coming from manufacturing, some part could be coming from ERP, and so on. So my data could be in multiple places, right? In such cases, Turno shines well. You can use Turno for interconnected information, right? Some of your data could be in Snowflake, some like there could, in every organization there are different kind of places people keep data. Maybe some people are keeping in their SharePoint, keeping the files in PDF and so on. So using that, using Turno, you can get the data from all these sources and interact with it. On top of it, sometimes you may want to interact with the systems. Okay, so there is something called MCP, the Model Context Protocol. So we set up the model Context Protocol for your organization, and in which you can directly interact with the CRM system and get the insight from CRM system combined with your databases. So, so Turno at the end of day is your data scientist. It connects all the data sources and does the magic for you. Now, the kind of questions that Turno stands out are the questions that relate to data sciences, such as do the forecasting for me, right? Let's say how much my products are going to be required in this particular city in the upcoming summer. How much should we manufacture? So that kind of question, Turno excels well. The way Turno solves such kind of problem is it will look at the demand in your area or in your basically in your it will observe the demand of your product in past few years in that city, observes the population increase in that city, and also like climatic conditions and other things that impact the consumption of your product. It will try to fetch all of that data and then will start forecasting that information in the future. So basically, this is what Turno does. So it ensures enterprise-grade security with SQL Shield. The other very critical component of Turno is that it is it is secure in the sense that since Turno codes a lot for you, when you ask a question, it does it codes in all kinds of languages. It codes in SQL, it codes in Python to get you the results. Whatever is the suitable strategy, it comes up with that. Now, the the downside of that approach could be that it could create SQL queries or it could create things that could impact your database. And to avoid that, what we did was we created a SQL security. It's like a sandbox for your database. It's like a firewall for your database. And it's like a firewall for your database. And basically, basically, it doesn't let the LLM talk to your impact your databases. That is the core important part. And okay, so yeah, so basically, Turno keeps your data secure and safe. The columns that you want Turno to see, you don't want Turno to see, you can hide those columns. You don't want certain sections of the data that you don't want to show to Turno, you can hide that. And SQL Shield provides all of that. SQL Shield is our product, part of the Turno. Yeah. All right. So what is Turno AI? It basically performs, like you might ask, like what kind of analysis can it provide? It can provide the, here's just a few examples, but this is not on, it is not limited to only these. So you can have the exploratory data analysis, you can have advanced machine learning model. You don't need to know exact intricacies of the machine learning models, all right? And you can do real-time processing, you can do automated report generation. And right? So the way it works is that user uploads a file, or already you have connected the data sources. User can alternate, along with that, you can upload CSV files. Let's say you have certain users and you want to see their behavior of the past, and those users are in the CSV file, but your entire data is in databases. So you can attach a file, you can ask a question, and Turno interacts with your data. Your data could be in API services, databases, files, model context protocols, and Turno basically, right, you get the results to Turno and then answers the question. So this is what Turno does. Okay, so this is how it looks like. So you can just go and sign up and start using it. So we have set it up on our servers just for the demo. And I think it has logged me out, so I'll log in again. So these are multiple instances that I have, and this is my instance. Say, here are some of the suggested queries that I have already saved for myself, and right, so I can ask questions like find all customers who made more than one purchase in last 3 months, right? But this is not only limited to it. You can ask any other question as well. Okay, so basically, on the left-hand side, what you see is on the left-hand side, these are the databases that we have connected. These are the various databases that we have connected, and and we can basically it when we ask questions, it will talk to all of them and give you the results. Okay, it will give you the results by interacting with all of these. Okay, so yeah, and these are many multiple data sources that have connected. So the Ter knows its own database, such as WordPress, on which the content is hosted, and Terno app. This is the database that contains the information about Terno and other data source along with an ERP. These are my data sources, and this is where I can ask questions, and it will do the job really well. Okay, like I can even ask things like, right, show me the, like when it works, it creates the files and folders. It creates files and folders, and I can interact with my file and folder really, really easily. Okay, so now coming back to it, all right, all right, so that's about it. And now going back. Yeah. So you can sign up at Turno AI. I'll just share the link. All right, let me share with all of you. Okay. All right. All right. Before I move forward, there are questions that I want to ask. I want to answer. Okay. Asif, I hope I was able to answer your question. What is Turno in general? Is it cloud only or is it on-prem? So it is both. So you basically can install it on your prem as well as it is available on the cloud. And then, okay. Just give me a moment. I'm getting a lot of. Okay, just give me a moment. I'll just turn off this. So thank you for waiting. So next question is it integrated with LLM? If yes, which part of data does LLM read? Calls API for analysis, right? So yes, it basically, right? So the LLM only gets to see the metadata. We do not share the core data with the LLM. It's only the summary, it's only the final results, or when it's doing the introspection, the tiny little bits of the data that goes to the LLM, right? We do not send the data to the LLM. Instead, we send the metadata and say to the LLM that could you generate the code and things like that. It does not upload all the data to the LLM. And and yeah, so in very highly confidential cases, we can integrate Turno with their local LLM as well. Okay. So a question is, does Turno have its own LLM model, or it always uses OpenAI or Gemini? We can use any of those, but we prefer any of the reasoning models, right? And so we don't have our own LLM, right? And we do not plan to have our own LLM. A question from Arun is that are you following country-specific compliance and regulations? We would love to follow the specific compliance and regulations. And the way we have designed the Turno and SQL Shield is that we should be able to handle and configure for specific compliance and regulations. And right now we are fully compliant with the regulations of the multinationals which are based out of India. Okay. And we are starting with a couple of US customers. So we are, you know, the compliance and regulations is mostly taken care. And yeah, the next question is how Turno is different from ChatGPT, even though I answered it already when Mitlis was asking the question. Okay. Right. The the question was, yeah. The question was, how is it different from ChatGPT or any of these Gemini and so on, right? So Turno AI is your data scientist, right? It basically talks to the database read only. It does not upload your data to the third party. It just keeps it locally. It is it provides the enterprise grade security to you, and it gives the automation. It has the ability to analyze, do the visualization, and so on. I'll show you some of the use cases, and we basically will have to go through the visuals, and then you'll get the idea. All right, moving ahead. Okay, now the use cases of Turno is, right, let me just walk you through some of the use cases that people are using. In these use cases, we do not want to share the data of our clients. Therefore, we are just coming up with the hypothetical names, such as Wellness Co. launches a new natural sweetener. Turno segments global consumers into, so let's say there's a company called Wellness Co. What they're doing is they are launching a new natural sweetener. Okay, so they need to get the customer insights and marketing. So Turno segments global customers into three groups: health conscious millennials, households with diabetic members, and trend followers. Based on the global consumers' data, such as the data coming from Nielsen and other data sources, So it basically Turno segment uses that data to understand your the users as well as comes up with these category of the users. And then it suggests the personalized marketing by region, says that Instagram and TikTok campaigns in North America and Europe, WeChat and WhatsApp promotions in Asia, and retail loyalty programs in Latin America. And based on the data that is available, it comes up with these insights, right? Next is let's say Pure Life. Let's say there is a company, a hypothetical company called Pure Life Products, right? It's a let's say it's a global FMCG brand. Pure Life produces protein drink mix that sees seasonal surges in Europe during January as customer adopt fitness resolution. So it basically produces the protein drink mix. So Turno detects this early pattern based on the forecast, and Pure Life adjusts its distribution network that more shipping containers and trucks are routed towards European market, while the warehouses in Southeast Asia are scaled down temporarily. The outcome is 8% reduction in storage cost, better availability of products in high demand regions during the peak season, right? Now, the the protein drink mix demand basically it just gives you a perspective of the demand across the globe so that you can do the demand planning and shipping, right? Now, let's take another example of global health, a multinational FMCG producer. It has factories in Brazil, Germany, and US, and it uses IoT sensors to track ingredient usage in real time. Now, Turno highlights that the Brazil plants consume 15% cocoa per batch than the global average. And further investigation reveals a calibration issue with one machine. Okay. Now, after the fix, right? So basically, here Turno can help in you figuring out whether you require you need to fix certain machine, or it highlights the broken machine or malfunctioning machine. And the annual cost saving reach around $2 million. Production becomes more efficient with less material waste, right? So yeah. Further, the cocoa usage per batch versus global average, right? Right, in every plant, the the global usage was 10%, but in global usage of cocoa, global usage of cocoa was was here. This was the global average. Now, as per the data, in one particular plant, they noticed that this one has more cocoa usage than everything else. So, so it is definitely a red flag, and this way, if this way, we can further investigate what exactly is the problem, and they were able to figure out what is causing that increased cocoa usage. Yeah, somebody has raised hand. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Prakhar, I'll just unmute you. Go ahead, Prakhar.
Hey, hi Sandeep. I have a couple of questions.
Hmm.
Do you want to take it towards the end, or can I like ask
Go
now?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So currently, like I am, enrolled in a project in which like we are working for a company falling under the health and life sciences domain, which is basically, FMCG
Okay.
uh, based company in US. So Uh, so the current architecture, like what they have is the infra what they have in place is they're using SAP systems, ERP
Mhm.
based systems, right? And in the data discovery phase, what we found out that there is no harmonization across different source systems and the
Yeah,
target systems, right? So basically, if I talk about ERP systems, so there is an ECC and an EDW, which is Enterprise Data
yeah,
Warehouse,
warehouse.
and some BW, which are legacy BW, business warehouses. Now they do not have any sort of analytical process in between, which is or a data governance, if I can say, in place, which basically takes control of like how the data is flowing from one phase to another, and
Yeah,
there is no data ownership also. While
okay.
when we do the ETL process,
Yeah,
so there are data sets which follow the requirement is that they follow some sort of a medallion architecture,
yeah,
right? Like bronze, silver, and gold.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The bronze layer is basically the raw layer, and then
रख दो भाई
you do some data cleaning, which
yeah,
basically falls under
रख
silver,
दो
and then some aggregation, which then becomes gold, which is basically goes into Power BI for some sort of reporting or presentation, right? So just wanted to understand if I, like consider this scenario in which
mhm,
like I have the data in the ERP systems and the data
yeah.
is being fed from, sometimes like stream or live stream or, batches on an overnight run. How does Turno handle those kind of situations?
Right, 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 right. You can actually just tell the Turno that my data, the primary data source is this, and my secondary data source is this, and third is this, and can you see which one is lagging, which one is not lagging, where is the missing functionality? It can basically come up with a strategy to fix that problem. That will be first one. Right. Second is when you are asking Turno the question, you can tell it that for these kind of use cases, use this particular data source. For this kind of use cases, use this particular data source, and so on. And this is a common issue, Prakhar, the one that you brought up. This is the common issue with almost everybody on the planet, that there's always data synchronization issues, data quality
Mhm.
issues, and this
Right.
is more reality than hypothetical or exception. It's not an exception, it is the reality. Now, to handle that, what we've done with the Turno is that you can tell it that this is my data source, reliable data source for this kind of data, and for these other products, the source of data remains here, and here is my backup, and so on. So, but what people usually do is they flow the data from all the live sources to a data warehouse, and they prefer to use Turno on their data warehouse, because what happens is because what Turno does is Turno starts building machine learning models, starts training machine
Mhm.
learning model on your data. It should not impact when it fetches lots of data from your servers locally. I mean, it's not sending it outside, it's just doing it locally. It's coming up with those models. At that point of time, it may cause the little more stress to your data sources, your databases, right?
Okay.
And
So
yeah,
sorry to interject, Sandeep. So just wanted to understand like all this thing, the data cleaning, the data harmonization, will it be taken care of by Turno AI, or do we need to have a sort of a prerequisite stage, like we have to do some data processing at our end, then only it can be fed into Turno AI for like to be able to go for advanced analytics use cases.
no. So it kind of you basically most of the work you can delegate to Turno itself.
Okay.
Okay. So you can tell it that basically you can tell it clearly. So just like a data scientist, what Turno does is it writes like Python code for itself.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Therefore, whether the data is in, let's say some of your data could be in files like flat file system, others could
Okay.
be in ERP, other could be in CSV, And some of the information could be you are attaching as a PDF, right? So you can ask it to combine all of that and get the results.
And it can handle unstructured data sets also, right?
Yes, yes. It'll basically write parser for it and so on. So, like for example, one use case that I posted recently was where I had like hundreds of invoices and I wanted to collect them together and combine them together with my existing data source. So it did that. So it extracted from all the invoices, extracted text from it, numbers from it, then correlated that with my database and then gave me the results.
Okay, okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Sandeep. That
Oh,
answers my question.
wonderful, wonderful question. And yes, so in the beginning, we were doing very specific to SQL, but then we realized that it's not going to work, and then we switched and changed everything about Trello. We made it something called chain of thought based, and so on. All right. Now, here's another example. So where, right, let's say BioCare International is launching some wellness products, right? So the Turno identifies that there is a rising interest in gut health and probiotics. And based on that, BioCare prototypes probiotic yogurt and tested globally. And customer testing shows that 80% acceptance rate in Japan and South Korea, and only 35% acceptance in North America. So, and essentially, it comes up with all this data, and afterwards, it launches the product. Similarly, another company called Green Life Corp, an FMCG company focused on health products, integrates with fitness apps such as Fitbit and MyFitnessPal, and then Turno analyzes the user data, sends personalized suggestions, and so on. Now, this shifts in Green Life's image from product manufacturer to a proactive wellness partner, boosting long-term consumer engagement. And so, right, you have users' data, right? So I mean, the same process that is visualized, that users' data based on sugar consumption and number of steps they're taking, they analyze the activity and intake, and so it gives the various kinds of suggestions. And similarly, there's a Pure Essence Limited. These are hypothetical companies. We've changed the names. And Turno builds price elasticity models and figures out that that by reducing 0.5%, $0.5 price in skincare gel drives 20% increase in Latin America, and and nothing like the change in the price doesn't impact the Western Europe, right? So based on these insights, the Pure Essence adopts a region-specific pricing strategy, comes up with comparative pricing in emerging markets and premium pricing in developed regions, right? So yeah, so basically, in so here's a visualization of the same, that how is the price sensitivity in various regions, and based on that you are pricing your product, right? Similarly, there's a Health Plus Corp, an international FMCG company, deploys AI-powered vision systems on packaging lines in Europe and US. And what Turno automatically detects the defects such as cracked bottles or mislabeling in real time. This benefits a lot. Okay. All right. Now, here's a case study that is done by various users of Turno, various people who are doing internships with us. Here are some of the case studies with real data for FMCG solutions. All right. Before I start with case studies, does anybody have questions? You can raise your hand. I can unmute you. Yeah, I would. How do you? Yeah, you can unmute, Mitlis. You have raised your hand.
Yes. So, as I understand that mostly we are doing the analytics job by using Turno,
Yeah,
analytics job. Okay.
yeah.
So we cannot create something like as the real AI applications are there, like as the uh, some kind of analyzing of different uh, uh, IoT sectors, any kind of alarm issues, predictive analysis related to where data's something related to you can consider as a stock market prediction for the investment point of view
You
and
can.
manufacturing plant. So
Of course, you can do all of that with Tano.
no, but how this when the data are in a stream, we are we using anywhere this Kafka or something like that also, or just simply we are using
No, you
LLM
can
model?
connect. You can connect your Kafkas. You can connect. So as I said here, right? So you can connect your Kafka and queues. So if you see here, okay, here, right? So you can connect your streams on as the data. It can be databases, it can be files, it can be API services, it can be MCPs, it can be anything. You can connect all of them together, and you can say that get the upcoming new records from Kafka and and for each of them do this thing for me and uh, push the results somewhere here. You can tell all of that to Turno, and Turno will do that for you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all good.
Yeah, you can connect everything here. So there is something called MCPs that we have launched. So MCP gives you this power of talking to your email system, talking to your everything. So, right? So basically, it's your AI data scientist. It does everything. It
Okay, so
does
as
much more than what you think it can do. Like, for example, if you had seen my post, all right? So, so here I had posted something. Okay, so if you see, where is that? Right? I'll just show you something cool. Like for example here, right? I really wanted to understand how languages of the world correlate with each other, right? So what I did was I asked her now that download 100 pages of text from internet in every language of the world, then create the letter-wise frequency and compute the TF-ID of that frequency, and then do the hierarchical clustering and visualize it for me. And it has done a beautiful job. Okay, this is the entire map of the world. Okay, entire map of all the languages that you see. Yeah, these
yes,
are the things. So you can basically ask it to do probably anything that you wish to do. Okay,
yeah, basically we are using this LLM practically. Everything
practically yes. Yeah.
not doing hard coding, all those things.
Hmm.
So simply we are using LLM for each and every application, whatever the possibilities are there.
Yeah. So
So
instead of just using LLM, what it does is I'll give you much more clarity, right? So you ask a question to Turno. Turno talks to the LLM, says that here is what I have as data. Can you give me ideas how to solve this problem? Now LLM gives it like code to execute and other things. It runs that code, Turno runs that code, walks through your data sources based on past history and knowledge. Like it gathers the most thing that you will be find it interesting is that Turno learns from your data. Okay. If it
yeah,
makes some mistake once, it knows that. And then next time if some other user does it, so as it interacts with your data and services, it learns from all of this. And when you are asking question in future, it is giving answer very quickly, and it's also helping you, use the knowledge of some other analysts in your team to get the better results. Okay.
Okay.
So
As
it
is, as in case of simple LLM, they are charging on token per token basis. So here in your case, you have mentioned that enterprise price is something $199 per month. So is it the fixed price for the unlimited use?
no. Basically, uh, right for the that's a different price. So for the usual use case that we have currently, most of our users, they are going with something like $49 per month. Okay, and which is pretty reasonable, something like 4,000 rupees in India, and per person. That's per person because the token size is a big constraint, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, but in our case, we do a lot of optimization with respect to token. We don't count your file and attachment as tokens. Okay, we do not count your files and attachment as tokens. Okay.
Okay. So it's all depends on the prompt size as well as what amount of embedding you have done and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all those things.
So a
Okay.
lot, yeah, yeah, lot of it, because it's not a simple prompt, right? So the way it works is that for the question that you're asking, it comes up with thoughts, quite a few thoughts, right? Then it comes up with lots of strategies for those thoughts. Then, then it tries those strategies, like it writes the Python code, it does all sorts of things. And then after trying out those things, if it is not able to solve the problem, that it again comes up with a thought and the chain reaction continues, right?
Hmm.
So, so for one question, it takes multiple steps to solve it. And here we are optimizing for accuracy, not the time. Okay, we are optimizing for the accuracy because data scientist's job is to give you great results instead of instantaneous, like in milliseconds, it's answering. It doesn't answer in milliseconds. It takes maybe say 2 to 3 minutes, and but it does a good job. Okay, so you
Okay.
can say that it's sort of chain of thought combined with agentic, combined with every other tag that is available, and it learns with you, it learns with your users, and it figure because every organization has lots of you know things that in some cases, let's say there's a company which makes XYZ product. They will have alias for it, that local lingo in that organization. We call that tribal knowledge. So Turno learns the tribal knowledge with the organization. Make sense to you?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Good question. Good questions. Okay. A question from Satish is, can it replace a business intelligence application which involves data warehousing, ETL, and front-end reporting? So yes, that's a very good question, Satish. Thank you. So again, let me repeat the question. Can Turno replace the BI or business intelligence applications which involve data warehousing, houses, ETL, and front-end reporting? The quick answer is yes. Quick answer is yes. And it does much more than that. There are things that predictive analytics have never been, achieved. So we are basically able to do all of that. That most of the predictive analytics workload was never achieved using the BI systems, using the BI systems such as Power BI, Tableau, and so on. But Turno achieves that without you having to code anything. Okay. So, right, like for example, I'm going to walk you through this one. So let's say the company wants to figure out that are discounts killing the profit? Is giving more discount might be giving more sales, but is it really profitable? Or by more discounts, we might be making more losses, right? Now, so quite a few companies and sales team, what they do is just to show their numbers, just sales team trying to show their numbers. What they start doing is they start doing the aggressive discount without realizing that deep discounts on certain profits can hurt your profit margins. And the challenge is to identify which products and strategies are hurting the profitability. Fix them using data-driven insights, right? Okay. So now this is what Turno did. Okay. When we connected the data source and we asked it that are discount killing our profit? What it did was that first was identify problem products, like use AI-powered analysis to quickly find most and least profitable products and categories. Then understand why they are losing money. Visualize the relationship between discounts and profit to discover patterns, such as subcategories with negative profits driven by excessive discounting. Analyze business-wide impact and and you know let me just walk you through this part and then come up with a better, smarter discount plan. Okay, so you can take a look at this particular case study. We have basically put it into Canva just to keep the looks neat. Okay, okay. So this is that's what is here. So basically, right, the first is give me summary of the data set. Also visualize the distribution of sales, profit. That was the first question that was asked. Okay. The first question was give me summary of data sets. Also visualize the distribution of sales, profit, and discount. Okay. Now the next answer from Turner was the dataset contains these many rows, these many columns with no missing values, and key fields are these: the sales, the mean is this, standard deviation is this, minimum is this, maximum is this. Now you can see that the standard deviation is quite huge, right? And then profit is this much, and standard deviation is this. You can see the profit is negative, which means we made this much loss in some of the products, then this much discount and so on. Okay. Further, the sales distribution was starting from 0 till so much. Okay. And the profit distribution was like this. There are some products which we made a lot of loss and zero profit and negative profit. Okay. All right. This was done, right? You can take a look at this. This is the full conversation from Turno. Okay. So yeah, you basically the person attached the CSV file, and then basically looked at this results. Now coming back to it, so here give me the summary of data set, visualize and the distribution of sales, profit in this. And okay, okay. Now it says that the file contains this character, so it'll just change the encoding because it's a non-standard characters. So it does all of that for you. And then finally plots the outcome. Further, it also gives this overview here. And then it says visualize sales versus profit category, profit by category and subcategory. That's a question from the user. So what it does is it comes up with this nice chart, right? It shows that very clearly that in the category called furniture, the profit is always positive, and right, as the sales increase here, the profit is, in some of the cases, the profit is more, some of the cases, the profit is less. So there is no straight line relationship. Similarly, for the office supplies, right? When the when the right when the you can see that the in office supplies we are primarily making a lot of loss as well. You can see a profit is of minus 1,000. In the technology, right? In the technology, the the sales is here. Now moving ahead. So it did that job. Then show me the top 10 most profitable and least profitable product along with the percentage of profit and loss. So it does all of that analysis and gives you the final result. Okay. So, right. And where did it go? Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So you can see that it has done the visualization of the sales across the customer segment. And then, right, and then do high value, here's the question, do high value customers buy different categories compared to low value customers? So it does that analysis, comes up with this nice chart. Okay, let me show you. So you can see the blue ones are low value ones, and the red ones are the high value. Okay, so you can see that in furniture, the high value basically has low share, but in technology, the high value group buys much more in rest. And that. Now, okay, moving on, right? Now here it says high value customers do buy a noticeable different mix of categories than low value customer. Technology makes 43% high value customer sales, but only 25.8% low value sales. Okay, office supplies, um, for right, office supplies account for 43.3% of the value sales and so on. Check if the certain customers repeatedly buy the same product. Can we cluster customers into the groups? Okay, so here it is doing the customer pattern PC1 and PC2. So basically purchase patterns, right? So it created three clusters of the users: cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3. Okay. And here there is a plot that it has done to make you understand how is your customer purchase behavior. Okay. Visualize the map of sales and profit across different states. Now it basically does that instantaneously, and then compare the shipping cost versus sales revenue across regions. So it does that for you. And then plot profit margins across different discount labels. So it is showing you the profit margin across different discount labels. And then, right, okay, predict the sales for next 6 months in for top categories. So it does that. Okay. And then, right, basically shows you the trend on how it's going to sell. Okay. And it does that forecast.
Recording in
the first
progress.
ones to develop this?
There are competitors, but most of them are not this exhaustive. Okay. They're
Okay, the
competitors.
reason I ask is I live in Canada now, and so we are looking at some development in this direction. So
Okay.
if we can layer, I'm kind of new to AI,
Okay.
so if we can layer something on top of existing applications. I was in the BI field, as you might have guessed. So if there is some viable way that we can introduce to our clients, then I would like to pursue
Oh, yeah.
further with you. So
Yeah.
how do I get in touch with you? And
Where are you based out of here in Canada?
I'm basically in Ottawa.
Ottawa. Okay. I'm in Toronto. Yeah.
Oh, you're in Toronto. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you already probably covered that market.
No, no, no. I would love to catch up, and yeah, would love to catch up. So yeah, we can we can catch up. I'll share my calendar, or you share your calendar, and we'll catch up. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with Zoom and the meetups. It's kind of new.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so is there an email or something I can contact you with, or I can probably communicate directly from Meetup.
Okay.
I can send you a message, direct message, then we can proceed from there.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Would love to catch up, Satish, and love to explore the possibilities. And yeah,
Even at a micro level, if we can develop something like an agent, we can do
yeah,
small queries
yeah, yeah, yeah.
based on websites and stuff like that.
Yep, yep, yep.
On what do you call the AWS stats?
Yeah,
Yes, we get people asking about their
yeah,
site visitors,
yeah,
the bounce rates and things like that. Very small at a micro level.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can connect all of the data sources from everywhere, and we can do that. Yeah, would love to catch up. Yeah,
Sure, I will send you a message. Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you. All right, all right. Great, great, wonderful. All right. Here's another case study that somebody has done. Okay. Here's another case study that somebody has done. It's insight from Cocoa dataset. It's a cocoa dataset manufacturing, and basically the chocolate makers and brands often lack clarity on which flavors, like clarity on which flavors drive higher product ratings, and which regions, bean types or cocoa percentage, represent untapped potential market, right? So essentially, a big deal about most of the this is very real. What we have just showed you is the one that Cocoa dataset problem is very much real. Like our customers are basically using turnover the same. So instead of showing the customer's data set, what we did was we took a parallel data set from the open world regarding the Cocoa data set. And then from there, we are trying to do the predictions using turnover, right? So basically, these were the insights from Cocoa dataset in final, right? We analyze all columns, data types, and missing values to ensure the reliable foundation for further analysis. All of this was done by Turno. Explore the relationship between cocoa percentage, bean type, and origins versus ratings. Identify the top rated companies and best performing origins. Analyze market trends and gaps. Visualize geographic sourcing patterns and ratings trends over time. Spot new and underutilized origins and so on. And provide data-driven recommendations. So in the end, when after analyzing data, it figures out that if you are going to launch any chocolate, use launching with 70 to 79% dark chocolate line using Honduran or Solomon Island beans gives the best customer feedback. And it suggests, the Turno suggests that small batch runs of rare Criollo genetics and targeted sourcing from high potential regions. So these were the recommendations done by Eterno, looking at the cocoa dataset, right? So give me the summary of dataset, what are the columns, data types, and missing values. So it goes through all of that and tells me about the dataset. Then we say that which chocolate characteristics are most strongly related with higher rating. It goes ahead and gives me that and show me the top rated companies and their average ratings. So here you go. So here are the top 10 chocolate companies that it came up with, looking at the data, right? Create a world map of where the best cocoa beans come from and who is sourcing them. So it comes up with this nice the map by itself. Okay, so these are the questions on the right-hand side. These are the questions asked by people, and these are the analysis and the results that it has done. Then create the world map. It is doing the world map, and then finally plots it. Plot the chocolate trends ratings over the years. So it sees that the chocolate trends is going up like this and so on. Now, which new bean origins have recently entered the market with good ratings? Okay, so it has come up with the analysis that these ones, right? These ones have gone good. Next is based on the data, recommend the ideal cocoa percentage and bean origin for launching premium chocolate line. So it goes through all of that and it says that based on the historical review of the data, right? Bars in 70 to 79% content bracket, cocoa content bracket, earn the highest average score based on this analysis that it has done. Okay, and then it shows you the thinking that to pinpoint the sweet spot for I will bucket the numeric cocoa percent into 10 ranges, these ranges, compute the average ratings for each and then. So it basically did what a data scientist would do, and it gave the results and predict future rating trend based on the cocoa and so on. So it does that. And afterwards, which bean origins are underutilized but have potential high ratings. So it says that beans, these are the various beans that it comes up with. Then what market gaps exist can be targeted, right? What market gaps exist that can be targeted. So it comes up with the market gaps. And then it says that show me the chord diagram, right? These are called chord diagrams. Okay. Uh, uh, you know, what is the question? The show me the chord diagram of the bean origin versus manufacturing country to see which regions trade most. I can give you guys these links. You can take a look at them. Okay. And yes. All right. Okay. The next one is the customer churn and happiness analysis. So it basically does that customer churn analysis for the company and comes up with ideas on how do we drop or how do we reduce the customer churn, okay, and improve the happiness in the customers. So that this is another analysis. If you want to go into more details, you can go ahead and take a look. Okay. All right. Next is right, the forecasting sales. Here, this is a very important part. So let's say there's an FMCG company that wants to better understand its sales patterns, okay, and future sales. Okay, it wants to figure out how much sales will happen in various states or various cities. This will help it improve the production, procurement, and inventory planning. The challenge is to analyze historical sales data, right? And and identify key drivers for the sales performance. So it goes through that. So the way the Turno does is it loads the data set, performs data validation checks, and this is the basic standard data science. You don't have to do anything. You just have to ask questions. So then it goes and does the sales pattern analysis. Then it does the forecasting, and then it does the granular forecasting by category and region. You can take a look at here. So it does this forecasting here. So you can see here that the forecast, you can see the forecast in general for every product. Similarly, yeah, it is showing the historical is just dropping because we only have the data till here. Okay. And yeah, so you can see it has done the forecasting of your sales. Okay. And it is also giving detailed report. All right. So that's the those are the cases. I'll just share this yeah, I'll just share this one with all of you. Okay. Yeah. So basically with the Turno, things that took years would finish in days. Okay, that's the biggest difference that Turno plays. Things that took months earlier, now those finish in minutes, right? The translation from months to minutes is a big success of Turno. And yeah, feel free to ask questions. Do reach out to us at reachus@turno.ai and let me know if you have any questions. Any questions for me? Hi, Chand, Arun, Ashwin, Chandan, Geetika, Irshad, Kushal, Manigandha, Prasant, Priyanka, Ria, Rutviz. All right. Thank you, BKT. Wonderful. Wonderful to have all of you in this discussion. Do reach out to us if you have any questions. Would you like to, take a demo, or you would like to give it a shot? If you want to give it a shot, you can just go to Turno AI. You can just say Turno AI and then click on sign up and start using it. And just say start chat. So by default, you will see 2 to 3 data sets attached on the left, and then you can do the rest. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.